Welcome to the parody, where we tally up the victims in our favorite movies. The game's about to start. What? Yeah, the game's about to start! Yeah, what about the game about to start? Like, it's about to start. You're about to get your name written above your head. Oh. Shit. Look above my head for my name, and today we're looking at Flick Flick, the GGF 871 kinda slasher released in 2020. Flick Flick is the third ever GGF 871 film, being released just a few days after Untitled Meme Movie. So yeah, it was COVID and I was bored. This film, like any other GGF 871 film except a few, is another GGF 871 franchise, which currently has the most films out of any, with 3. I guess that's kinda why I keep on coming back to it a bit. It's kind of a mystery on who the murderer will be each and every round. And you know, Rec Room's Flicker-like equivalent murder version of 3 has more roles, which makes it actually close to the Flicker now. But I'm not here to judge the movie just yet. I want to get into a bit of the Flicker lore. Flicker is made up of a whole bunch of interesting characters, human or not. And if you don't want to play as any of those characters, you could just go ahead and make your own character if you don't choose the anonymous game mode. That's honestly one of the best things about the game. It's just way too inclusive, to be honest. And if you know me, that's why Flick Flick 2 is my least favorite film of the Flick Flick franchise. The characters are very diverse. They have different ethnicities, I think even religions, sexual orientations, and genders. So this is definitely a game that can be enjoyed by people who are people. In the game, there are a whole lot of roles, like the survivor who just survives, the clown seen on screen here who must get voted out to kill someone. There was also the twin role, in which an effect on one twin impacted the other one. And starting off the two main ones, there's the detective, whose mission is to take down, well, the murderer. And of course there's the murderer, the person who causes each and every single moment of chaos in the game. And the goal of the murderer, if it's obvious as of now, is to kill basically everyone. And that's enough about the Flicker lore. There is just a lot of it that I wanted to delve into. Now, the movie. It's fine. Obviously, 3 and 4 are better than this because I have more fun with them, but this is better than Flick Flick 2 because I don't horribly mischaracterize every single real-life player in the game. And the movie is over 2 hours long, which I don't think is justified for what happens in it in any regard. But its positive elements float this up to be a okay GGF 871 movie, which I would put below Deadville Death Strikes, but above Untitled Meme Movie. And also this has way less kills than Deadville and Untitled Meme Movie, and also everyone will have their own specialized death sprites at the end, so at least it's gonna be unique in that regard. But let's see how this movie has less kills than Deadville and Untitled Meme Movie, and actually get to the kills. The movie begins with a Smurfified just walking into the game starting center. This voting screen lets you vote on a map and select your character type, with the LGBT option being changed to a non-binary option. The game picks a role for you. It also appears just as turned to the Flicker character known as Reza. But apparently in the lore, Reza is a spy for the American government. Apparently someone decided to spy on his life because Reza has been killed. We see in a second that his body was draped over some sort of railing. Just rejoins the game after that, so we'll never know who the murderer actually was. And it appears this guy you see for only a few seconds has a pretty sweet Monkey D. Luffy cosplay. Reza's S makes things awkward when Just turns in Mateo next round, who is canonically friends with Reza, by the way. In the in-game Flicker lore, Mateo is striving to be an artist. This room has a whole bunch of characters I want to mention, but I can't due to the fact that, I wasn't playing as them at the time. But after the lights pull a pseudo title card, we see a few more people have been killed. As promised, I'm only going to count the people who are definitively killed by the murderer, assassin, or clown. However, if we see someone else there that died from all those roles or from mysterious circumstances, I'm going to count them too. So because of that, that gives us Vinny and Nave for this nasty bathroom spectacular. After checking a few rooms, Mateos discusses the stats of the people who have been killed versus the people who are still alive. But Mateo, you might want to watch out there, as you may have just made yourself look like the murderer. And as Rita agrees, that's what a killer would say. The commenters are mad that there's a dinosaur here, so Rita has been voted out. Just like that, only half of the lobby remains. One thing I forgot to say, during the night you can be given a muffin by the magical Muffin Man. During that night, though, no one was actually killed, despite the fact that there are now 2 more dead bodies around the house. They only left the game. If you didn't notice by now, I am playing with some very strict rules. Oh, and apparently during all of that, there was some magical accusations made against Jordan. Jordan says that she's the medic and that she will heal you, but Mateo comes in with a wild roast and says that he'll vote her out instead. In the end, all this stuff thrown against Jordan makes her be the one being eliminated tonight. Well, another night, another pit stop by the fire, and more commotion. During the night, it appears that nobody had died, but Melody was witched, however. Oh, and you know how I said Reza and Mateo are canonical friends? Well, they're in the same lobby now. Reza is quickly ruled out because of the canonical lore, and Devere is stuck on a table, and Elena is scared. But for some reason, Melody the Psychic is being voted out this round. She had all the knowledge needed for them to vote somebody out right off the bat. Oh, she also has a girlfriend and makes multiple songs being proud about her lesbianism. During the night, multiple more allegations swing against Elena. Rosa and Mateo agree that she was the only possible suspect for the last round. Their argument is that Devere is AFK. Rosa suspects that it might be Devere near the last seconds of the round, but Mateo still thinks that it's Elena who's evil. But when the results come in, Reza is the person who's being voted out. It also appears that apparently Reza was the person who was the witch, because the good side had won. Alright, we're nearly 20 minutes and we just had a batshit insane round and we have to make up for that somehow, so here's a title card. Before the next round starts, just needs to flaunt for 2020 Reddit humor. Afterwards, our screen gets switched and we go back to the same place as the first round. This is a div, and since he's apparently missing in the actual lore of the game, now he's probably been found. That AFK down there better watch out. While Deshaun angrily asks, "Who ate all these cookies?" the power goes out. Oh, the power going out apparently causes a whole lot of chaos. To lighten up the rules a tiny bit, I'll be counting people who have previously been seen dead by the camera. So going by that rule, this means that Veronica and Alec will have to be added to the count. Speaking of Alec, he was a character that was originally in the game until March 2023, where it was removed due to tokenism. In whatever case, all the responses everyone has is to just walk around. But the walking around did kind of have a purpose, since Jean-Claude is the person who's being eliminated this round. Like I say again and again, the flickering lights appear, but someone does have a lantern so we can get some light in the scene. It appears that Allie is dead, and since I don't know if she left or not, I'm just gonna do a curveball and add her to the list. When Indeed asks for more clues, it appears that Deshaun went missing. Of course they don't care about Allie since she's already been killed like a long time ago, but now they have to vote. It appears they all decide to vote out Aphrodite, so now she's out of there. I encourage any puzzle transphobes in the audience to pause right now, open up the Google Slides for the Flickr character lore, then go to where Aphrodite is. You won't regret it. After Aphrodite gets kicked out of the area/laboratory, time passes by until the lights start flickering again. While the lights start flickering, a div walks into another part of the laboratory. Little did he know that Deshaun's dead body would actually be located back there. Guess that solves the mystery of where he went. After the kill, Helena asks Samani for some clues. The clues come in which they say it's either Cody or Albert. Helena does have reasons for why it's Albert, but they don't clearly come through on screen. Nonetheless, he still gets voted out. The lights go flickering again, and Helena tells everyone to protect Amani at all costs. In the background there, another body appears. They all quickly discern that it's Jojo, who's been bizarrely trapped in the contained energies. Apparently, Adib used his witching powers during the night because it says that Amani was witched. For some reason, they all think it's Viola, who quickly reveals herself to be the medic. While that drama keeps on going on, Amani thinks that it's actually Devere. And Amani gets her way. Devere's been eliminated. When Devere's journal pops up, it raises an interesting question. Is Amani manipulating everyone? Come to think about it, Devere actually has a pretty good theory. They're probably some other role trying to be the detective. But as earlier proved, yeah, she can have the names of everyone, so, that's false. The lights continue to flicker until Amani gets it right. When Amani says that, Helena immediately switches over to her side. Although if you think about it, Adib was going to bite the dust from the very start of the round, because at this point, everyone has a clear understanding of who's good and who's evil. Accusations start flinging out everywhere. Although Cody just said it was Viola, he switches over to the Diva's evil side. And they were alright. Where we get... What? No. Salty son of a bitch? Whatever, quit slinging out lies and just play the game already. Although, getting into the game does take a very long while. That's probably why this thing is 2 hours long. Oh, you lying motherfucker. Well, at least the game starts and, oh, cool, there's a muffin woman? I don't know. The person Justice turned into this time is Inda, a person who, in the lore, is a quiet, anxious person, but does want to be a journalist. I will say this portion in the sewer does lead to some funny moments, like Seung-ho's telling everyone about how the water is gross. Eventually, the dim-ass lights in the sewer start flickering. And also during that night, Inda gives someone a muffin. When the lights turn back on, I can add a few kills to our tab. First of all, Seung-ho, who was thrown off the ladder. And secondly, Elizabeth, since we did see her head briefly after the lights were finished flickering. Oh, but then for some reason, after walking to the other edge of the sewer, Inda decides to fucking leave the game. That wasted 2 minutes of this movie's runtime. This time, Just turns back into Reza and is the Muffin Man again. Oh, and I guess he also likes saying random things. Whatever, the lights flicker off and on again, questioning, why does this sewer have an electrical grid? Although Reza does press his luck since he is killed again. He's seen torn apart. Oh, and we also see Laura dead too. This starts a kind of montage, since every time Just gets a good roll, he leaves the game. Oh no, wait, I was actually lying about the montage part. Just doesn't leave when he gets the twin roll. This time he's turned to Miguel and his twin is Marley. Thanks to the easy access, the twins find each other. But for some reason, lights flicker on and off until we see some dead bodies. I'm gonna count 3 kills here. Luki, since they were seen before and they were killed by the murderer. Joshua, since he was actually killed by the assassin. And Amani, since we previously saw her body. Charlie thinks that it's Rita, because I guess everyone just hates dinosaurs that much. Because of this, Rita makes a very good argument. Just because she's a dino doesn't mean that they're evil. Because of Charlie's whack-ass theory, Rita is the person eliminated. Again. Miguel makes some nickel comments before the lights flicker off and on. Alright, I just have like one kind little question. It's just no big deal. Why the fuck are there lights on in the woods? Like, what are they doing? Are you just turning the stars off and on? During the flickering, Miguel turns into a survivor. Yep, Marley left the game. Oh, but I can't count Aphrodite, however, since she was killed by the murderer. Afterwards, some more stuff happens. Procity here says one of the guys left and he was the murderer, but uh-oh, she says she was on the bad team. Well, I guess that's one way to get voted out. Unbelievably, there's still more people that are evil here, and the lights flicker on and off. That is because both Quinn and Charlie left the game. I guess that was like the easiest win of all time. The next game eventually starts and they all vote for the hospital. Oh shit, Justice turned into detective, aka GN. But also, I mean, this place is fucking packed. Well, then it's also one of the smallest maps in the entirety of Flickr, so... GN's clues reveals that it's either Minji, Bailey, or Mary in this batch of 3. For this batch of murdered people, I'm not gonna include Annie since her head was just off screen. But better yet, no one was murdered that round. Also, like, a weird thing that happens in Flickr is that people sell the decapitated heads on the counter as, like, some sort of food thing, like McDonald's, but it's for decapitated heads. Bailey's been going on a spiel about being the murderer the entire time, and Jean's clues did say that it was Bailey. So, yeah, y'all better get her the hell out of there. A lot more time passes by until the lights in the place start flickering again. More of them pop up this night, and it says either Mateo or Kimley is a good player. And oh, never knew Flick Flick was an advertisement. They're too busy doing epic stuff to, like, talk. Going along with the plans they said earlier, the entire server decides to vote out Mary. Yeah, but who cares about your voted out friends when you can eat pizza that dropped from the ceiling? The night goes on, and it says that Minji, Joshua, or Nikolai could be an evil player. It's more so it could be Minji, since this is her second time appearing on one of these clues. And also someone in the lobby thought it would be a guy to bring Mary back to life. It also kind of confirms that Mary was sort of killed, so sure, I'll include it. One of the evil players among them isn't Nikolai, since he did bring Mary back after all. Because of her double track record of being on these things, Minji is the person being voted out. Because of Minji's probably fabricated journal, it turns Jian against Mary. Oh cool, now everybody's just all of a sudden in the same space and Jian didn't get a clue. And it also turns out that Rosalie actually left the game. And oh yeah, based on Jian's experience, you all know what's gonna happen. Mary has been voted out, again. There's a whole lot of stuff going on between the characters in this part, but like, no actual deaths. Well, there was something about Elizabeth, and she seems a bit suspicious. At this point in the movie, there's just under 45 minutes left, so this is easily the longest segment of the movie too. Hey look, there's a John Sponge shout out. Don't exactly know why you're shouting someone out who's been dead for the past 11 years, but alright. Even though at least 3 people targeted Elizabeth, it's actually Kimley who's being eliminated. Whatever, as the movie goes on, the cycles start repeating constantly. Also, hey look, I can finally add someone to the count. Joshua has been decapitated, and his head is now on the counter. Well, I guess with that, it means we can finally get out of this round. For whatever map it is, it's basically tied. But Just joins in as Trey the Muffin person. With references and people calling themselves Donald Trump, it's actually a pretty swell time in the woods. That is until, the phone resets. That is the one and only time that happens in any of my movies. Whatever, Just turns into Mason, aka the Survivor. Oh, but I guess that's also part of the leaving because you get the Survivor role initiative. Well, I guess this is where the actual Survivor leaving montage takes place. Whatever though, I could just skip over that entire 4 or so minute montage entirely, and back to when Just turns into Muffin Man, aka Albert. This Albert guy is inspired by the popular Roblox YouTuber Flamingo, who, if you want to get real technical, we last saw in the parody all the way back in The Last Gasp. The same as it's always been, the lights start flickering. When we come back, it's bodies galore. First off, Rosalie, whose body we just saw and whose head is not exactly in the right place. And secondly, Adora, whose head is coming out of the TV. Well, apparently that's enough kills for Albert, who leaves the game shortly thereafter. Another game pops up where Just turns into Mason, aka the Murderer. And it's all a good enough time until the lights, you guessed it, start flickering. Beyond the screen, it actually has some sort of sense of suspense, since you never know who they're actually gonna kill. When the lights stop flickering, it turns into a bloodbath. I can count 5 dead people here, starting with Kimley, who's been dismembered. Secondly, Ode, who looks like she's not even dead at all, but, well, she is. Thirdly, Omar, the person who Mason decided to kill. And over here, I can count Vinny and Rita, since they're both seen dead within the same radius. After that, the round seems to be going pretty swell until Thomas introduces the idea that it could be Mason. And like, yeah, they're right about that. Bizarrely, Mason decides to stay within the confines of the game. Oh, and because of this, I can add one more to our count. Jean-Claude, who was somehow pinned up behind that door. And you know the rest, they all argue and someone gets voted out. The person voted out this time is Thomas, and Mason just completely lies to him. The lights start flickering again there afterwards. You know, I could have counted multiple kills here if not for the fact that we get an interruption just to screenshot the time. Whatever though, we can skip that and go to the part where Hanine is voted out by everyone. And the cycle repeats. Well, guess what? No one died. After that heated political debate, the result of the vote show that Elena is being voted out. Nice. Alright, last round of the movie. Gotta make it count. And boy is it a good sign when it reveals that Justice turned into Jean-Claude the Murderer. Everyone meets within the central part of the area, and we meet some other characters. Oh hey wait, that's the character I said was Melody's girlfriend earlier in the lore. The lights start flickering, which must suck for everyone here. It gives Jean-Claude the opportunity to see bodies and kill. I'm only gonna count Fiago here, as the murderer didn't kill anyone. The crowd of people in Area 8 is going absolutely wild, and it's, very crowded. Eventually, when voting time comes, they vote out Kiriomi. Yeah, even I'm confused. During the night, multiple more bodies spawn. And here I can count 4. Kimley had some acidic adventures. Same with Allie, that's why I'm lumping Kimley and Allie together. Inda, who is trapped inside a containment unit and then killed. And Tamiya, who was left in the same position Deshaun was in an hour and a half ago. At this point in the movie, there's only a few people left here. That means their very last course of action is to vote out Charlie. The lights flicker on and off for the last time in the movie to give us our final 2 kills. First of all, Veronica, mirroring how Reza was positioned at the beginning of the film. And finally, Austin, our last victim of all this madness. So that's how the movie ends, a murderer win from Jean-Claude. And also this kinda car we get in the credits. Obviously this proved to be less slashery than the others, but it still managed to get a whole crap ton of kills. How many though? Let's find out at the number.
I'm detective, I'm the electrician.
Where am I? What is
Oh,
this?
damned.
What is that?
What?
I'm confused.
What am I?
Why is this guy floating?
I could.
Weird. This is weird.
Why aren't you floating?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Just trying to get to the numbers. Come on. God, this isn't the numbers. What is this? Another flick movie?
Walk in the
No.
room.
Alright.
Wait. What role are you?
Alright, where'd you go?
You're patient 0?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I have to
What does that
infect
mean?
everybody.
Do you have a disease?
I don't know. I don't know if I have like a freaking disease or not.
Social distance. What does patient 0 mean?
I am the patient 0, some sort of weird thing.
Let's try not to get me infected.
I was trying to get to the numbers.
Okay, are you the numbers? AC's on, that's good. Yep.
I can't get to them just yet. I was like bonked. I was like bonked in the head.
Where's all the other people? At least
Yeah, where is everyone at? Hey, look, it's another person. Oh my. Hey, that's odd. That is odd. Did you just flip me off? What the hell, dude? Alright, just got another guy. Alright, yeah, I know someone's in there. Ah, damn it.
Terminal connection
God
error.
damn, oh,
Lights
damn
going
it.
out.
How am I supposed to get to the numbers now? Hey. Hey, you've been infected. Oh god. Ah! 33 people died in Flick Flick, the highest of the series so far. Out of the victims, I had 15 males, 16 females, and 2 victims of other genders, giving us this 3-part pie chart, which you might be seeing again next week. Comparing this to the other Flick Flicks, like I said, it's the highest of the series, and comparing this to other GGF 871 film I've covered, yeah, that is very low on the spectrum considering its kill count of 33. Jesus. With a runtime of 123 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 3.73 minutes. Aim of his flamethrower is hard to give out since there's so many unique options, but I'm gonna give it to JoJo, surely because of the cool imagery, like, that energy seems like it'd be a blast to float around in. Broken Pistol can go to any of the depths in the woods, there's like nothing there. And that's it. Flick Flick was released in 2020 and so far has spun the longest running GGF 871 franchise. Next week we'll be looking at Mansion Battle Episode 4, but until then I'm Tessa Rose, and this has been The Parody. Quick side note, it's officially been 7 years since I've actually started doing YouTube, so there's that. Otherwise have this clip, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo! Some heavy shit. Got the bottomless liquor bottle right here.